Now, from our Crimewatch file, a reconstruction of a murder without motive, in which police officers reenact past events with the help of real witnesses and actors. It's presented by Nick Ross.
Affirmative.
I was really frightened by everything. I wouldn't stay anywhere in the house by myself. I felt safer out of doors than I did indoors. I felt as if anything could happen without anybody knowing about it, because that had happened to my dad.
The tragedy of Dr. David Birkett's death has never been explained. No one knows why he was killed, perhaps not even the man who chose him as a victim. And Crimewatch couldn't help to find the killer. But at the very moment Crimewatch showed what happened here that night, by sheer coincidence, the mystery was resolved.
Something's not right, Frank. It's gone 4 o'clock now and David's curtains are still drawn.
So?
Well, they've been like that all day. And you know he never draws his curtains.
Well...
And there's been no sign of him either.
No.
I'm going to ring Laura. She's got a key.
Hello? Laura? Yeah?
It's Deirdre from next door to your dad's.
The minute I got the phone call, I knew something was wrong.
Emtro said from Bravo 912, reference incident Cornfield Road, can confirm suspicious death.
Okay, ladies and gents, if I can just have your attention. Probably most of you are aware of it now, but at 4:20 yesterday afternoon, Dr. David Anthony Birkett was found murdered at his home address at 26 Cornfield Road, Middlesbrough. He'd been savagely beaten about the head with a blunt instrument. We carried out a post-mortem last night, and we believe that he died sometime between 6 and 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Is there a sergeant here from the SOS?
Sir.
Gordon, what I'd like you to do is concentrate on house-to-house inquiries in the Cornfield Road area.
Well, yes, actually, I went out about that time in the car.
I just wondered if you heard or saw anything which may have been suspicious.
No, we didn't.
Where's that?
You put me in for 10:15. Hello, Ed. How's it going? All right. Are there any signs of a break-in?
Well, at the present moment, we've checked the windows and we've checked the doors, but we haven't found anything.
Right.
This is Dr. Birkett's room. Right. I think this is him as all the other rooms. There's cupboard doors open, bedding, drawers open.
Yeah.
Nothing disturbed, it's strange.
Yeah. You know, this isn't the work of a burglar. Not at all. This has been made to look as though the place has been screwed.
It appears so.
I'm not happy about this at all. I'll tell you what, the motive for this murder isn't theft at all. It was a really vicious attack, and the sheer brutality of it almost suggests a crime of passion. I needed to know much more about Dr. Birkett. I needed to know about his friends, colleagues, associates, everything about him, and this then became a major line of inquiry.
He seemed to me a very, very kind man, very gentlemanly.
Hello, Tabitha.
He lived on his own next door.
Walk?
Well, he was divorced about 2 years ago, I think. He had a grown-up family. The youngest one, Laura, well, she used to come and see him every day.
Hi, Dad.
Hi there.
I used to go out virtually every night, even if it was just for 10 minutes, something. So I'd see him every day, because I felt sorry for him, because he was by himself. He was really clever. He knew quite a lot of things. I never actually saw him reading like a full book. It was as if he'd think of something and then go and check it up in the study in one of the books. I think he knew virtually every book that he had in the study, and he knew loads of like useless facts and things like that.
I've known Dr. Birkett for about 22 years. As a patient at Canterbury West Hospital, I used to meet him on regular occasions.
David Birkett was a dermatologist, one of the senior skin consultants in the northeast of England. He was based here in Middlesbrough, but worked throughout the region.
Well, thank you very much for coming to see me, Mrs. Simpson. I've caught the condition just in time. You have, I'm afraid, got quite severe eczema. It will take some time to clear up. But anyway, I'm going to prescribe some balneum.
His knowledge of skin was matched by his expertise with bones. His hobby was paleopathology, the study of old bones, and such was Dr. Birkett's skill that his advice was sought by the Department of the Environment. He was charming, respected, and, so far as could be discovered, without an enemy in the world. With no obvious motive, no obvious suspect, police set out to discover Dr. Birkett's movements that weekend.
Hello, can I speak to somebody in connection with the Dr. Birkett inquiry, please? Yes, I work in Thomas Cook in Middlesbrough, and I've got the local paper here in front of me. You're asking for people who saw him on that afternoon. Yeah, I was working on the afternoon there, and he did come in to see us.
Well, Virgin flight brochure, please.
Right, certainly. There you go.
No, thank you.
Is it business or pleasure this time?
Oh, a bit of both, really. I'm taking my daughter with me on a trip to America.
Are you sure it was Dr. Birkett? Yeah, he was a regular client, so I remember him quite well.
Dr. Birkett was home by 5:20 when a neighbour cycled down the alley beside the doctor's house. This was the last time David Birkett was seen to be alive.
It was a Saturday night. I was due to finish work at 9 o'clock. And a minute before, I took a 999 call. Service, please. Police, thank you. Which number are you calling from, please?
26 Cornfield Road.
26 Cornfield Road. It was different because most people, when they ring 999, are very, very anxious, and you can hear the panic in the voice. But he was really calm, steady, and just really clear. Hello, police. Hello, I've just had a call from a man. Came in at 8:59. He didn't give a number, just an address. 26 Cornfield Road. He didn't say which town, no. Yes, I'll have it traced. I'll call you back. Hello, engineer. Can you do me a trace, please? Hello, engineer. Right, it's a payphone, Union Street. Oh, thank you. I'll tell the police.
But a serious error of judgment was made that night at Middlesbrough Police Headquarters. Because the 999 call made no mention of a specific crime, no one was dispatched to check out the doctor's house. The extraordinary tip-off was ignored.
We really kicked ourselves for not getting onto that call straight away. The sooner we find the scene of a crime, the better it is to preserve evidence. In this case, we knew that the telephone call had been made some 2 hours after the murder, and it may well have been made by the murderer or an accomplice who were trying to point us in the right direction. I decided to make enquiries around about the telephone kiosk, and I had the forensic people to go and examine it for fingerprints. I also arranged for officers interviewing people in the area who were using the kiosk.
Past about 8:30.
Not around 9 o'clock.
A recording of the phone call was sent to a forensic linguist.
It was laughably short, the shortest I'd ever been asked to comment on in a forensic context in my life. A mere 5 words. And, well, the first one was asking for the emergency service of the police. That's all. And the rest of it was just an address.
26 Cornfield Road. 26 Cornfield Road.
Of course, it gave some obvious information about the man's geographical background. He'd been brought up in the northeast. It gave some indication of his social grouping he belonged to, and a little about the state of mind he was in, amount of control he had over his feelings when he was actually speaking, but very little that could identify an individual person.
Meanwhile, it took 8 SOCOs, or scene of crime officers, 3 weeks to check out the doctor's home.
The operation of searching a house for fingerprints and forensic is a painstaking and patient one. Everything has to be examined. The carpet, every square inch of it has to be looked at.
It's Turpin's lounge carpet. Needs a fireplace.
Also, we were looking for any other evidence which may have been relevant to the scene and the situation at that time.
Go in. I understand we found a tie mark.
Yes.
What can you tell me about this mark?
Looks very much like a motorbike tyre mark. Due to the pattern of it, it would appear to be a trials or trails type bike. Right. Again, if it had been made by a car, it would have had tyre marks on the garden, or it would have been into the fencing.
Right. How do you think the mark was caused?
It looks as though it's been caused by the bike accelerating away from the drive.
We've now completed the search of the doctor's house, and we found several pieces of evidence which are connected with the murder and the murderer. One of these is this co-op carrier bag, which was found in the hallway of the doctor's house. As you can see, it's blood-stained, and we've now established that this is the blood of Dr. Birkett. What I'd like to know is where this bag came from, where and when it was manufactured, and which outlets we have in the Middlesbrough area that had this particular bag. Initially, I thought the carrier bag was not going to be of much use to us. It was what forensic found on it that was to provide a major breakthrough.
Having recovered the carrier bag from Cornfield Road, we realised that the most important evidence we could find would be fingerprints. Because the surface of the carrier bag is plastic, we were unable to use conventional fingerprint powdering techniques. We then decided to use a superglue process. This entails heating a small amount of superglue inside the cabinet, causing the glue to fume. This results in white chalky deposits being formed along the fingerprint ridges. Because the carrier bag was white and the ridges were now white with the superglue process, we had to resort to a further process, which was to coat the article in a yellow food dye, wash the dye from the bag, but leaving small quantities of dye trapped within the fingerprint ridges. This enabled us then to put it onto a quasar machine, which is basically a high-energy light source. We view the mark then through a series of filters, and the result is that the light source causes either the fingerprint ridges or the background to fluoresce, enabling us to see the marks. We found a clear, partial fingerprint near to the handle of the carrier bag.
In my experience, I decided it was a right thumbprint. When we're searching a thumbprint through any collection, we're always looking for a combination of characteristics. For example, when the ridge forks or a ridge ends. In this print there were several of these characteristics. I started to search this thumbprint through our active criminals collection in Middlesbrough, approximately 20,000 forms.
That took Judith a fortnight and got nowhere. So now she faced the task of checking every print in the collection, every criminal ever known to the police in the entire northeast of England. 300,000 different records.
Of course, we couldn't be sure the print had been made by the attacker. The carrier bag was old and would have been handled by many people. I decided to send it to the Forensic Science Laboratory for further examination.
When we examined the carrier bag, we noticed damage to the bottom of the bag in the form of semicircular cuts, and in one position, almost a complete roundel had been pushed out. The most likely weapon to cause this type of damage is a hammer, and the question was which type of hammer was most likely. we carried out numerous experiments, and the most likely one seemed to be a cross-plane hammer. We were able to estimate the size by measuring the roundel that was pushed out in the carrier bag. This fitted in quite nicely with the damage we found on the carpet at the scene, which was in the form on the top surface of a split surrounded by a white deposit, which turned out to be the plastic, or plastic similar to the carrier bag. But on the reverse side of the carpet, we found this semicircular type of cut, which also fitted with the shape of the head. Going back to the carrier bag itself, towards the top, we also noticed a stretched area, and we concluded that if you put the hammer inside the bag and stretched the bag over the top of the shaft and then twisted around like so, then this would be consistent with the position in which the fingerprint was found.
The second piece of evidence is this note, purported to come from Demon Dispatch Motorcycle Couriers. The note says, "A dispatch rider called today with a parcel. Phone the above number as soon as possible to arrange a convenient time for delivery." We know that Dr. Birkett had an alarm system at the house, and we believe that this note was part of a plan to gain access. We know that the doctor received parcels from courier services, and it wouldn't be unusual for a motorcyclist to arrive at the drive, which would tie in, of course, with the tyre mark on the drive. It seems the murderer knew of Dr. Birkett's movements, and that Saturday afternoon he posted this note through the letterbox of the doctor's house. And the doctor would find that note when he returned later that evening. We don't know whether or not the doctor telephoned this number, which is the number of a telephone kiosk on Roman Road, about 300 yards away from his house. In any event, we believe that the murderer was at that telephone kiosk sometime that afternoon. We believe that later that evening, the courier arrived at the house and the doctor allowed him access to the house to his cost. Demon Dispatch no longer exists, but we know that it was trading some 2 years ago. I want D.I. Kelly to oversee the inquiry in relation to this company.
Yeah.
And I want to know the employees, past employees, subcontractors, and I want to know the link between the Demon Dispatch note and the doctor's house.
Morning, can I help you?
I'm DC Bowes, that's DC Davies from Cleveland City's Crime Bureau. I'm looking for Mr. Alan Thompson.
That's me.
We're conducting a murder inquiry which occurred on the 3rd of February of this year, and the logo Demon Dispatch has cropped up in the inquiry. I understand you're the managing director of that firm one day.
Yeah, that was some years ago, yeah. Right, there are all the personnel records, past and present. We were only a small company at that time, so there will be people that were on either YTS schemes or ET schemes that will have only been with us a few days.
Yeah.
Obviously, there'll be people that have moved out of the area now, but best of luck.
So he no longer lives at that address. Would you know where he was working at the time? Do you have a forwarding address for him? OK, then. Thank you. Bye. Ray?
Yeah.
Absolutely useless. He moved from there weeks ago. It's going to be another one that's difficult.
Do we feel like that?
How are we doing, Ray? Are we getting anywhere? Do we need any more crews? How many have we traced?
There's 49 employees. We have 25 we trace quite easily. We need some work done on the other 24. Good afternoon. All right, DC Bowes, it's DC Close from Cleveland City's Crime Bureau. Looking for a Mr. Gary Cunningham.
Yeah, that's me.
I understand you work for Demon Dispatch.
Well, that was a few years ago, though, yeah.
Did you used to work for the Demon Dispatch Service?
I did, so what?
Then came another daunting task, checking through the records of every delivery ever made by Demon Dispatch. Had there been a visit to Dr. Birkett? And if so, who'd made it?
We actually looked through somewhere in the region of 250,000 dockets. Took us 2 weeks to do it, but obviously it had to be done. It was laborious and boring, and we didn't actually find a single one that related to 26 Cornfield Road.
We traced, interviewed and eliminated all 49 employees of Demon Dispatch. I still felt, however, that we could learn more from the note itself, so I sent it to the forensic handwriting analyst for further examination.
At this stage, I formed the opinion that it was natural writing, and also that in all probability it was written by a right-handed person. I then went on to look for characteristics which could be used to identify the person responsible, or used to eliminate possible suspects from the inquiry. The features like the B, the P and the D, where the final stroke ends in an upward direction, and also the letters E, where there was quite a lot of variation in terms of the design, from E's that were basically L's with 2 horizontal strokes to some that looked like letters C with 1 horizontal stroke.
Then there was the cord found on the floor near Dr. Birkett's body.
We suspected it being used by the attacker to drag Dr. Birkett into the study. This, of course, would prevent any contact between the attacker and Dr. Birkett, and therefore the transference of fibres. The piece of cord, however, proved to be very, very difficult to trace. We made inquiries at various outlets and shops, and initially it was thought that the cord came from an item of sportswear.
We're making inquiries into the murder of Dr. Birkett. I'm just wondering whether you carry any cord of that type.
We do several for climbing. Maybe I could show you what we've got.
Do you have any sort of cord on your jackets?
No, the only type of cord jackets we have in this store is this sort of thing here.
On close examination, the cord proved to be composed of 3 different types of nylon fibre, and one proved to be distinctive. This is a microscope that can measure colour in tremendous detail. It was used to analyse the dyes or pigments in the nylon and print out a signature which no other batch of dye could match precisely.
Hello? ICI, yes, could you possibly put me through to the labs, please? Hello there, yes, it's DC Donaghy from the CID of Middlesbrough. I'm wondering if there's any result yet on the piece of cord that I brought over last week.
We've tried over 151 different manufacturers, local sports shops. We've even made inquiries in Pakistan, Germany, Holland, and we just can't find no match for the cord. I've never seen anything like it.
Right, that's not very helpful then, is it?
More help, though, came from the inquiry outside the phone box from which the 999 call had been made. A young teenager was found, and he recalled a strange man in the phone box on the evening of the murder.
The young lad was waiting for a bus which was due at 9 o'clock. In actual fact, it was a little bit late that night, so he was at the phone box at the time that call was made,
Right.
or thereabouts.
Oh, that's great. We'll have to get a statement from this kid as soon as possible. And can we fix up to get an artist's impression as well?
No problem. Do that tomorrow.
Right. Done his cheeks. His hair's a little bit lighter. Are you happy with that?
I like the cheeks, but...
The young man was a remarkably observant witness, and the picture was quickly published.
As these inquiries progressed, I was frequently turning to the press with appeals for help. And it was as a result of one of these appeals that the murderer got in touch with us.
It was a letter, carefully disguised yet utterly distinctive, and it turned out to be obviously authentic. Some was stencilled, but as though the killer found that too laborious, it finished up in longhand. "Phoned the pigs for fun," it said. "You ain't seen nothing yet." It was signed Zen, and it contained a strange poem which mystified the police.
Like the 999 call, it was clearly written with a view to taunt us. It was sick in content, it was very anti-police, and at first glance it appeared to be the work of a crank. However, I had to take it seriously because of a line on the first page.
The line was, "Who else would know about the hamster cage and back bedroom, or empty dressers and wardrobes?"
It was significant because at the time we searched the property, we found empty wardrobes, drawers and the hamster cage in the back bedroom of the doctor's house.
It was my hamster, and a couple of days before Dad died, it was in the airing cupboard because it had been eating things in my bedroom, and it had eaten one of Dad's jumpers in the airing cupboard.
Right, my boy, you are coming out of there.
So he moved the hamster into my sister's bedroom. So he must have moved the hamster either on Thursday or Friday.
Only 4 people knew about the hamster cage in the back bedroom. That was the doctor himself, Laura, the cleaner, and of course the murderer. So the writer of the letter must have been in the house around the time of the murder. By this time we'd established that an old Norman skull had been stolen from the house. This skull had damage to the eye and the back of the head, similar to the injuries sustained by the doctor.
The killer was plainly far from normal, so what sort of person would he turn out to be? They sought help to build a profile.
From the evidence at the crime scene and the evidence in terms of the letters that the chap had written, the killer was clearly someone who fantasised a great deal about violence. What I've found with individuals like that is that the enactment of the fantasies is seen as an escape from an abused, rejected and powerless existence in real life, and the violence restores some of that power. In some cases that can become addictive and there's a desire to repeat, as in the serial killer, and in this particular case there was some evidence of that as being a risk. At the end of the letter he'd closed by saying, "You ain't seen nothing yet."
It seemed that we were dealing with a psychopath, and I was told that he could strike again and that I might be his intended victim. This was a very worrying time indeed for myself, to think that a man was out there who'd taken the life of an innocent person for no reason whatsoever. On an evening when I went home, I checked the front of the house, the back of the house, to make sure nobody was about. I kept all this away from my family, but it was a very worrying time indeed for myself.
The chilling letter was also checked against the killer's other written message, the Demon Dispatch note.
It was difficult to form an opinion as to whether the letter was written by the same person as the note. However, using the two documents, we were able to design a sample text, a letter, which could be used as the basis of getting specimens from possible suspects.
Do you understand why you've been brought here?
No, not really.
I would like you to write a passage, a handwriting example to assist in the murder inquiry of Dr. Birkett. Dick Ryder is an 88-year-old, deeply religious man.
As the inquiry continued, morale in the office was very high. New leads were cropping up and there was plenty of lines of inquiry. I was still worried, however, about the motive for the killing. I knew Dr. Birkett had travelled to many parts of the country for conferences, etc. And as I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, I decided to go to the nation through Crimewatch UK.
But detectives weren't the only ones from Middlesbrough preparing for the programme.
Hey, Sharon, I'm going out. Record that Crimewatch programme for us, will you?
Why? You never watched it before.
Got the murder of that doctor on, and I want to see it, right?
I had several officers down at the Crimewatch UK programme, and I also had many officers in the Casualty Bureau at Middlesbrough to receive calls from the viewers.
Radio Times.
Keep your fingers crossed, let's hope Brian remembers his lines.
This is BBC One. In 45 minutes, it'll be question time after this month's edition of Crimewatch UK.
Our next case is a murder in which the killer, or an accomplice, seems to have tried to contact the police. Detectives have a tape recording of a man's voice, they have samples of handwriting, and they have an insight into the suspect's personality, which, it must be said, seems slightly weird. Nearly an hour later, at about 6:10, this witness, a local farmer, noticed someone...
Here we go.
Here we go.
Fingers crossed.
Saturday night. And the next day, Sunday the 4th of February, his body was discovered in his home. He'd been beaten to death.
Right, and obviously we need to eliminate that man who was seen by the phone boxes from the 999 call was made.
Yes, we do indeed. He's 35 to 45 years of age. He's medium build, 6 feet tall, and he was dressed in a dark anorak.
OK, fairly distinctive features. You want him to call. Now, not only did someone ring the police, but someone wrote this letter to you. Now, this is the first page of it, which is stenciled, and I gather people who know about stencils say it's fairly well done.
That's right.
This next page is more interesting. It's got a verse here, which seems to be about martial arts. Heaven and earth are my parents, Psyche Tandon is my home, Stoicism is my body. Very interesting, this line here. I can throw my life away at an instant. Can you?
Yes, we've received many anonymous letters, But because of the content of this particular letter, we're rather interested in finding the author of it. It's very important that we find the
There were
writer of that
details in
letter.
this that suggested he really knew inside that house, that he knew something about the crime.
Indeed he did, and about the activities of the doctor himself.
Please help if you can. 081 811 8055. Or if you want to ring the Middlesbrough local incident room, try 0642.
Right, ladies and gents, this could be it. Let's keep our fingers crossed for plenty of telephone calls. Any coming in?
Oh, Cleveland Police, Crimewatch, Birkett murder, how can I help you?
OK, do you know this person?
And which book did you say that was from?
Then, just as the first calls were being answered, the appeal was overtaken by events out on the streets. 2 miles from the Middlesbrough incident room, PC Vickers and a colleague were on area patrol.
It was the start of a night shift, and as we were going down Oxford Road in Middlesbrough, past an alleyway. And as we went by, I looked into the alleyway and saw a lad on a motorbike.
I'll just have a chat with this lad in the alley. I don't like the way he sat there with his lights off.
Sure, yeah. Pursuit in progress, Roman Road, near to the Yorkshire Bank.
I saw that he crashed into a wall and had ran off from the bike. As I ran down the alleyway, I saw that the tank had broken and there was petrol all over the alleyway. So I ran through that, back into a street, and he must have gone into the gardens that were around me then as I came into this street. I didn't have a torch with me because I'd left it in the back of the car. A couple of minutes later, the lads arrived in the van to help us out, and they had torches and started to shine into the gardens. Yeah, we got this lad out of the bushes, realised he smelt of petrol, and he'd obviously the same lad that had fallen off the bike. Told him he was under arrest on suspicion of theft of the motorbike, and took him into the back of the police van. That was the end of the matter, really. We just thought we'd arrested a motorcycle thief. Hello, Brian. Yeah, John, how are you doing? No, you look good. Yeah, good. Yeah, we've had one good result. Our caller's rang in. He said he recognises that writing, that strange writing that you had on the programme. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Thinks it's from a book by an American novelist by the name of Eric Van Lusbader called The Miko. Yeah, very good, yeah. Yeah, we'll probably have a crack by the time we get back, Brian.
Sergeant, this man's been arrested on suspicion of theft of a motorcycle.
What's your name? Reginald James Wilson.
What's your date of birth?
7th of August, 64.
It was a stolen bike, and Reg Wilson was charged before being released on bail. His prints were taken as a matter of routine, and as with all prints in North East England, copies went to Durham for classification.
Well, after 18 weeks of checking fingerprints in this case, Judith had gone on leave. I'd been delegated the task of taking over her duty during this time. And as luck has it, the first day she's away, and one of the first forms I look at.
Hey, Helen, I've just tied that Middlesbrough mark up.
Oh, great.
As you can well imagine, I was absolutely amazed. I was over the moon. And then when I thought it was a little bit sad that Judith, after all her hard work, had actually missed this moment, which comes once in a lifetime, really.
Oh, it was a tremendous piece of news. It was great relief to myself and to the members of the team to find that we'd had a match on the mark found on the carrier bag. It was the first positive lead we'd had throughout the whole of the inquiry. OK, I brought the briefing forward today because we've had some terrific news from the North East Fingerprint Bureau up at Durham. We've got an identification on the partial thumbprint on the bag which was found at the scene of the murder. Yes. I thought you'd be pleased. It belongs to a bloke called Reginald James Wilson. He has previous convictions for theft, burglary, and his last one was for a robbery. Obviously we know a little bit about him, but we need to know more. So what I'm going to do is fix up for DI Temp from the Regional Crime Squad to put him under surveillance for a few days.
Boring, this, isn't it? Yeah. Wish there was some movement soon. Zulu 1, we have movement, we have movement. Yeah, Wilson's come out of the house. He's accompanied by a female. He is wearing his camouflage jacket and blue jeans. She is shorter than he is. She has got dark hair. She is wearing a burgundy jacket and blue jeans. They're going down towards Ascot Avenue, still staying together, walking along Ascot towards Springvale, out of my view now.
I'm following the suspect now. I can see him from Ascot Avenue, following down towards Acklam Road.
The surveillance that we did on Wilson over a 3-day period, on all occasions he was wearing what we originally thought was a Walkman, but we later found out during the course of the surveillance that this was almost certainly an electronic scanner that was used to monitor police broadcasts. From that we decided to change our frequencies on our radios to a special channel that we can use in those occasions.
The suspect is turning right into Acklam Road. I'm going to turn left now. Alpha 1, are you ready?
Alpha 1, yes, I've got the target. Walk down Springfield Road towards Acklam Road.
Well, Wilson himself, we found, had a girlfriend who lived at the house with him. She normally went to work every morning. We discovered Wilson himself was a bit of a loner. He didn't seem to mix with anyone at all. He was always looking around, planning crime. He was a walking one-man crime wave unto himself. He, on one occasion, hired up a motorbike. He went back home, got some equipment, and then returned.
Alpha 2, I have him in view. He's walking towards me. Alpha 2, I see Wilson. Alpha 2, he's walked towards a motorbike, 250 motorbike. He's tampering with the motorbike. He's getting on the motorbike, he's still in the bike. The bike's going Beaton Grove towards you. He's setting off now, towards you, Alpha 3.
Quiet, please, quiet. For 3 days now we've been on Wilson. I've spoken with Brian Leonard last night, and it's been decided that today we're going to arrest Wilson at the first opportunity. I don't want any schmozzle in front of the public, but what you've got to bear in mind is that Wilson almost certainly murdered Dr. Birkett, and your safety and the safety of the public are paramount. Yeah, Alpha 5, I've now got Wilson in my view. We're still cycling along Acklam Road towards the town centre. He's cycling past my position now, and he's stopped at the telephone kiosk. He's parking his bike up near the door, and he's gone into the telephone kiosk. He's in the phone box. Teams, move in. Arrest, arrest, arrest. Go! Because of the confined space, it was virtually impossible for him to move. And in fact, at one stage, I thought we were going to enter the Guinness Book of Records because of the amount of officers that tried to get in the phone box. Right, look, so let him out. Right, this is what I'm going to say to you. Detective Inspector Temp from the Regional Crime Squad. You've been arrested for the murder of Dr. Birkett. You're going to be taken to Middlesbrough Police Office. You're not advised to say anything unless you wish to do so.
What you say may be given in evidence. I'm Detective Sergeant Martin.
Detective Constable Ray Bowes.
I'm Mr. O'Shea, solicitor.
Jerry O'Shea.
You've been arrested today for a very serious matter, and that's the murder of Dr. David Birkett. It happened at 26 Cornfield Road, Middlesbrough. Do you know where 26 Cornfield Road is?
I've seen it on telly, yeah.
Have you ever been in Cornfield Road?
I've been past it, yeah.
You've never been in the house?
Yeah.
Dr. Birkett was a skin specialist, skin diseases and the like. He worked from Cardiff Bequest Hospital. You ever been treated by him?
Nah.
Telephone book from the front room.
Red cash book with police call signs in.
Looks like we've got a false wall here.
Jed, there's an axe in here.
Wow. Looks like an armoury in here, eh?
He's a one-man war machine.
Incredibly, for someone who'd gone to such lengths to hide his cache of arms, the gloves he used had an obvious telltale flaw, a hole in the right thumb.
I want to show you a carrier bag, a co-op carrier bag. It's witness reference CB13. It was found at the doctor's house, 26 Cornfield Road. Can you have a look at the bag? You'll see there's a hole in the bag. The forensic people tell us that the person who murdered the doctor had inside of the bag an instrument to commit the murder. Have you had a bag like that before? Have you ever touched a bag like that?
Nah.
Right, if you look at the bag in position A, that is your right thumbprint.
Your print's not on that bag.
Listen, your fingerprints are unique to you. That's your right thumbprint.
My thumbprint's not on that bag.
Why did you murder the doctor?
I didn't murder him.
Such a cold, callous murder. Have you nothing to say? Are you not sorry?
Sorry for what? I've done nought.
What's funny about it? I can't understand you. We're talking about a murder.
I didn't murder him. I'm not having it. I'm saying nought.
Andy, loads of bits of paper up here.
Is there anything on it?
I don't know, hang on. Yeah, there's some writing here, similar to the writing on that poem that was sent to the DCI.
Oh, get the socko, man.
Righto.
Right, Reginald, I want to show you some documents. The first one is a letter received by DCI Leonard. It's under reference number BL1. If you have a look at it, some of it is in handwriting and some of it is in stenciling. Officers have been searching your house and some pieces of paper were found in the loft. Is that your handwriting?
Yeah.
Right, should we compare these? Could you read that second line there?
Saiga Tandon.
Can you read that second line on there?
Saiga Tandon.
Same words, same order. You wrote both them letters.
Nah.
His denial could be tested, and it was. Starting with literally a blank sheet of paper found in Wilson's loft, Mike Hall used ESDA to search for hidden clues.
ESDA is a technique which is used to develop indentations on paper. In this case, a number of blank sheets of paper had impressions which came from the blockings on the letter, these little projections to the top and the bottom, and the vertical lines in the blocking are reproduced in the indentation on the paper. And it gives a perfect match. Clearly, the sheet of paper was beneath the letter when the blocking was actually sketched on to the letter.
Right, Reginald, I want to show you this notebook. It was found in your front bedroom. Can you have a look at the book? Is that yours?
Yeah.
It is. If we look inside the inside cover there, there's the word survival. Did you do that?
Probably, yeah.
Those are stenciled. Do you have access to stenciled?
Nah, I've never done no stenciling.
So you're saying you did that freehand, are you?
Yeah, I've never had no stencils.
Have you not? Right, well, have a look at this exhibit. This was found... This is a Helix stencil set. It was found at your mum and dad's house. If we have a look at the letters, they're exactly the same on the survival there as on the letter received by DCI Leonard.
Possibly, yeah.
Did you send a letter to DCI Leonard?
Nah.
Sharon, have you ever seen Reg stenciling anything?
Yeah. He's always doing his writing and stuff. Look, I don't want to say nothing. He'll kill me. He said he would.
Come on, Sharon.
He's gone really weird over the past few months. A real nutter. He killed his puppies.
What puppies? Tell us about them.
Dobermans they were. He had these 2 pups and he kept whining, so he smashed their head against the back bedroom wall. He said their crying kept annoying him.
Interviewing Sharon was difficult because she was obviously totally dominated and frightened to death of Reg Wilson. And she was reluctant to speak to us until I think she came to terms with the fact that he was actually involved in this crime.
Oh, there's a dog pen out here.
What's it? It's a pit bull.
Sharon, have you ever seen this green cord before? It was found in the dog run in your back garden.
Dog run? No. Never go in the back garden. Just dogs scare me.
So you've never seen Reg with green cord before?
No. Except the stretchy dog lead thing he pinched.
What dog lead? Where did he pinch that from?
He nicked it in a burglary he'd done.
What burglary was that?
It was one of his cons. He sold his dog Rebel to some woman in Eyre Street. And when he found out her address a few weeks later, he went and stole it back again. It was in the papers and everything.
The nylon dye proved it was the same cord as that used in Dr. Birkett's murder. And there was more to come.
We found a telephone directory at the home address of Wilson. Wilson didn't have a telephone. In it, we found the name of Dr. Birkett had been marked, my name had been marked, and also the name of Alan Thompson, who was a director of Demon Dispatch Company. We know that his home address had been broken into over a year before the murder had been committed, and that Demon Dispatch paper had been stolen. It is likely that Wilson was responsible for this particular burglary.
Right, stand there. Stand there. You charge that you, on Saturday the 3rd of February 1990, at Middlesbrough in the county of Cleveland, did murder David Anthony Birkett. You don't have to say anything unless you wish to do so. What you say may be given evidence. Do you understand the charge?
There is no doubt at all that Wilson would have killed again. On one occasion, when he was due to appear at court for remand, he stabbed a prison warder en route to the court. At his home address, we found an elaborate plan on how to kill a police officer, and I believe that this was his final goal. We have no connection between Wilson and Dr. Birkett, so there would appear to be no motive for the murder. We do know, however, that Wilson was a glue sniffer in the early 1980s, and he frequented an alleyway which runs alongside the doctor's house. It is possible that Dr. Birkett could have chased him and that Wilson had borne a grudge for many years and finally planned to kill him. The doctor was very, very unlucky indeed. This truly was a sickening murder, a murder without motive.
Reginald James Wilson, you have been convicted on what, in my view, was clear evidence of a most appalling murder. I regard you, as a result of what I've heard during the course of this trial, as an exceptionally dangerous man. The sentence of the court is one of life imprisonment. I propose to recommend to the Home Secretary that in your case, the sentence of life imprisonment will be one that should be served in its entirety. Life, I will recommend, should mean life.